listeners, TW here. Sam returns for a discussion about director Paul Verhoeven after our last discussion about director David Lynch. This is a sub-series, as it were, where we focus on a particular director and what makes them work, their context, their time, do they hold up, all that sort of shenanigans. So enjoy, and spoilers ahead. Hello, Sam. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much, and yes.
Sorry about all the mess, but I figure a desk covered in movies or books about movies is very on brand.
I think it is, and compared to, my workspaces, it is utterly tidy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's always someone messier. That's always encouraging,
Yeah, and that's usually me.
Right. You're a good person to have around for juxtaposition, I suppose.
Yeah.
There's enough room for the microphone, so we should be fine.
Yeah.
Now, I could be wrong, and I should know this, given that it's my show, but I'm pretty amateurish, if that's not already clear. I think this is the first time you featured twice in the same series.
Okay.
Because I think you were once in Series 0, once in Series 1, and then you already did one for Series 2. So this is our fourth episode, I think.
I think it's about that.
Yeah, so this will be your first time returning.
Returning in the same series.
Wow.
Am I the first person to do this, or
no, because Nate is a regular. He sits outside my door sometimes, scratching on the door, trying to get in. So I said, fine, come in, we'll do another podcast.
Well, I suppose that makes it easier.
Yeah, he's conveniently around.
Just drag him in, put him down, make him talk film.
Yeah, no, just turn the mic on, and it's a case of trying to stop him talking about film eventually. So he's a good person to have as a podcast guest.
Well, yes.
So I like this idea. We've got a range of sub-series, like Nate and I have done series about focusing on particular franchises, for example. But the idea of having a sub-series within the podcast talking about particular directors is especially interesting. And I bring that up because of our topic today. What, or should I say, who is our topic for today, Sam?
It is I think it's Dutch filmmaker.
Dutch, yes.
I nearly said Danish. I would have been, in a lot of trouble then.
Our Danish fan base would have got very upset.
Yeah. So the Dutch filmmaker, Paul Verhoeven. Yes,
and he's a name that is, I guess, synonymous with certain parts of Hollywood, ironically. We often see this, of course, that the outsider is very good, like Billy Wilder in his comedies in the 40s, certainly 50s and 60s. He, of course, was Austrian. And I didn't realize, incidentally, just watched a documentary, he still spoke with a very, very thick German accent or Austrian accent right up to the end, despite being in Hollywood for decades. So the idea that the outsider can come in and make very good American films, not utterly unique, but still interesting.
I think there's a history of that going right back to the early days of cinema. I mean, look at Charlie Chaplin.
Right, yeah.
Look at
he was a Hollywood star, but of course he was English.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, some of the more prominent... there is something to be said about I'm not from this thing, so I've got a different perspective, and that can be good. Mind you end up with, let's say, contemporaries of Verhoeven. You end up with people like those who were in charge of Canon Films, the 80s VHS era, and those are just at the tip of the iceberg, who are the outsiders, because I think they're Iranian or something. I can't even remember now, the blokes who ran Canon. But the point is, you get these outsiders who English is not their first language, and you end up with absolute rubbish as well. I mean, Tommy Wiseau's The Room, and at no point did someone apparently say, humans don't speak this way, right? So it goes both ways, but you do get the occasional standout, and Verhoeven, I think, without question, is one of the standout examples.
I was going to say, Tommy Wiseau's The Room is a masterpiece in and of itself.
Yeah, he accidentally made a masterpiece, and certainly not in the way he was intending.
No.
Whereas Verhoeven basically made the films he intended, and sometimes they were warmly received and sometimes they weren't. And what's an interesting thing I'm sure we'll come back to is the idea of, how should we say, his films being reappraised over time, because some of them were notorious bombs at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Either commercially or critically.
And both.
In some cases, both. So we're going to focus, the parameters are, we're really going to focus on his Hollywood peak from 87 to 97, which just so happens to be, I would guess, probably when we were most interested in his work as well. But I just want to mention a couple of things, putting that in context. So Robocop at 87 is kind of his big explosion into Hollywood, but it was, and I've got the screen open here, so I'm not going to say I know this off the top of my head, but there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 films before that. So Robocop is his 8th, and many of those were in the Netherlands. Have you seen any of his Dutch films?
No, I have not.
I've seen one.
Yeah.
Turkish Delight, which is probably the one to see because it was his hit. That is the thing. So if you ask any Dutch film fans, they'll say, "Oh yeah, Turkish Delight." It was actually, there's nothing comparable in the English sphere at how successful this was. This exploded in such a way that sorry, for context, 1973, before home media. So I guess here's a rough comparison. The Exorcist was such a big deal that people would go watch it 5 times, and it spent years in cinemas, and it was a huge cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
Turkish Delight was not that. So that was about the same time, coincidentally. It was not that. It wasn't a satanic horror film or anything like that.
It was a romantic comedy, wasn't it?
Basically. And so you had something like 1/4 of the entire population seeing it, or something like that. Like it was.
That's massive.
Yeah, the film was a massive. I'm just quoting off the Wikipedia page here. The film was a massive success at the Dutch box office. 3.38 million people saw the film. While the Netherlands Film Festival puts it at 3.5 million, which corresponds to 26% of the population of the Netherlands. So that is just insane.
Yeah.
So it was. I'll just do a quick brief rundown here. There's the star was Rutger Hauer. I'm always
from Blade Runner.
Yeah, I'm very clumsy with his pronunciation.
Yeah.
Rutger Hauer. So he did several films with him. In fact, he was Dutch too, in case people didn't know. So the film is entirely in Dutch. So it's a disjointed film because it starts and then it sort of flashes back. But basically, it starts with him naked in bed. There's a lot of nudity in the film. He wakes up, cleans up this house, which is it's like a studio apartment. And there's mold everywhere in the food, and it's just in decay. And then he goes out and starts immediately propositioning women, and then has sex with a whole range of women, and then is sort of ridiculing them for not being quite right. And we realize it's because he's got this ideal woman, and they're not living up to his ideal. So and also we get what could be. Is it a flash forward or what is it? We're not sure at the time.
Yeah.
But he murders 2 people. We realize later it's a fantasy. He's having a fantasy about killing his ex-wife. And so her and her new partner are in the fantasy. But you don't know that for at least an hour. So, he's not a likable protagonist. He's quite abrasive, quite offensive. He's anti-establishment. So again, 1973. Sort of late hippie era, I suppose you call it. So the idea that he's an artist, but he put sores and wounds and everything on a Jesus sculpture, and they're going, he's resurrected, so he'd have worms on him and stuff like that. So he's just constantly pushing against the people around him.
So the establishment.
Yes, but even his mother-in-law, he's making fun of the fact that she's got a missing breast because of breast cancer. So he's making fun of her. So it's a lot of misogynistic behavior in here. But it's done very purposefully. It's not, this is something to aspire to. It's like, this is clearly a broken man. So we flash back and see the relationship. And I guess I'll just cut through. I mean, there's a lot to talk about in that film. It is, I couldn't take my eyes off it. It was a very, very well-made film, and I won't spoil the ending because you say what has Turkish Delight got to do it? Turkish Delight, the food comes into it right at the end, whatever. But I won't spoil that just in case you want to see it one day.
So it sounds like my description of it as a romantic comedy is completely off the mark. I obviously have not done my research for this film.
Well, it is at times, is probably what I'll say. So when it shows the flashbacks and their relationship, it definitely is.
Okay.
But it's in the context of a very unlikable protagonist. So he is completely enamored with her, his wife, loves his wife, and they're quite nice together. But ultimately, he's very controlling, and ultimately that leads to her leaving, but eventually she comes back, and so on. But when they're together, there's a lot of sweet moments. There's a lot of humor in it, definitely. But anyone other than her, he's pretty damn horrible.
Okay.
So it feels very much a product of that hippie age. So because he would have been, Howard's probably early 20s at the time, I think, from memory. So anyway, huge hit for him, as in both of them, Paul and Rutger. So
didn't it win? What was it? Best foreign language film at the Oscars, or?
I am not sure. Let's see. It was the 46 Academy Awards for Best Foreign Film. It says that it was submitted. Who won? No, apparently not.
Okay. Well, again...
So it was nominated.
Well, that's still, a feat in and of itself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So it wasn't just a Dutch thing. So, yeah, no, it's an interesting one. Films with unlikable protagonists, but there's still a core there to hold on to. I mean, having just watched Marty Supreme, there's an interesting parallel there. I don't know if you've seen Marty Supreme.
No,
He's a thoroughly unlikable protagonist, and the ending just gives you something to hang. You can hang something on and go, oh, yeah. No, it's like, geez, it took over 2 hours to make him likable. And that's quite abrasive. And that probably explains the box office for Marty Supreme, because it was only moderately successful.
Well, another film a bit like that would be A Clockwork Orange.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's nothing likable about Alex.
No. He becomes relatable when he's trying to conform.
Well, when he's forced to conform.
Yeah, true. So he was very relatable. He becomes the victim. Whereas at almost no point in Turkish Delight is... I can't remember the character's name, but Rutger Hauer, that when his wife leaves him, you sort of go... It does sort of come out of nowhere, where you can see she's not super happy, but she just walks out and is clearly having an affair with somebody. And you sort of go, well, he's a bit blindsided there. But having said that, he was a bit of a tool the whole time too. So there's moments where you go, maybe that's the thing. Have an unlikable protagonist, but if you can still show pathos through making them a victim, then maybe there's something there. So maybe. Well,
again, another thing would be American Psycho.
Oh, yeah.
I mean... He is,
That was the best Paul Verhoeven film not made by Paul Verhoeven.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about that.
Talking about that's a very. It's clearly it's a comedy, not just a comedy.
Yeah,
and it's clearly a satire.
Yeah, also deals with 80s excess and corporate culture.
Gee, I wonder what that's got to do with Paul Verhoeven.
I wonder.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's jump to the 80s.
Okay.
Robocop, 1987.
So we're going to skip Flesh and Blood?
Do you have something to say about Flesh and Blood?
No, other than that I have not seen it.
Okay. I also have not seen it.
But it does star Rutger Hauer.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I can't say much about it, to be honest. But but Robocop was clearly his defining picture, and that's the thing that really elevated him.
Yeah.
Would it be fair to say, let's start with a nice easy one. So 2-part question. Would you call yourself a fan of Paul Verhoeven? And relatedly, is Robocop the quintessential, the best, or your favorite? Or how do you... Before we get into specifics, do a general.
So I would say Robocop is among my top favorite films.
Right.
It works on so many levels.
It doesn't have robot ninjas like the third one, though.
Let's not talk about the third one. Let's not talk about the second one.
Agreed.
And let's certainly not talk about the remake.
Sure, got it.
Let's talk about, Paul Verhoeven's.
Yes, the only one that matters. I just wanted to see if I could trigger you, and apparently I can.
Yeah, you can.
So one of your favourite films...
Yeah.
So you would say you're a Verhoeven fan generally, right?
I would say so. I mean, I think he's one of those fascinating directors. He works on multiple levels.
Yes.
He's got some really interesting ideas and themes running through his films.
He makes onions or cakes, depending on how.
And I think one thing, I cannot stand is a film that, says it's a deep film and goes out to be a deep film and then, forgets to make a good film.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
And that, and
or it's preachy or too heavy.
Yeah.
And it's like Neil Blomkamp, who his films where he's channeling the same sort of inspiration. He's not trying to make. He's not doing the same style, but he's not subtle, I guess is what I'm saying. Whereas Verhoeven stuff is, well, we might argue in a couple of his films too subtle because audiences completely miss the point. And I don't think it's the audience's fault necessarily.
Yeah.
So maybe he's a little too subtle at times. But yeah, when you're a little bit... So Blomkamp, sorry for context, that's District 9, Elysium, and Chappie are his three big ones. And the general consensus is that District 9 is great and it's all downhill from there. But even District 9 is not subtle.
No,
Gee, I wonder if this is about apartheid. I mean, it's
set in South Africa. You've got
you've othered these people. You've alienated them. No pun intended. But so Verhoeven is doing these layers in a generally. Beg your phone. Generally in a more subtle way.
Yeah.
Like Robocop is a sci-fi action film.
Yeah.
And you could watch it as that. Like if you're not interested in themes and layers, it is a very good action sci-fi revenge sort of flick.
Yeah.
So
I would say it's, one of the best of the 80s.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of the things that not necessarily sci-fi, but a lot of films of the 80s in the post-Star Wars era, let's jam some sci-fi in there, that makes sense, but not necessarily sci-fi. But, so it's quite horrifically violent. I mean, I grew up watching Robocop 2 because I wasn't allowed to watch Robocop 1 for a while. And upon watching it, I went, probably a good call from my parents not seeing Robocop 1. Like that opening scene where Murphy is killed. And shall we talk about the religious subtext here?
I think you really have to think about the religious subtext when you're thinking about Paul Verhoeven.
Right.
I mean, he is a member of, I don't know, I was reading it this morning, but he is a member of a elite Christian society.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, so that explains that.
Intellectual society.
Right. Okay.
Because it's the one of the few members that does not actually have a degree in theology.
Oh. So, right, I see. He got in there through his other work, perhaps.
Yeah.
Because of course Murphy is brutally murdered, including he gets his hand shot off. So reference to the crucifixion.
Yeah.
He's resurrected.
Yeah, and even
presumably a few days later.
And even in the scene where he's being shot, he sort of puts up his hand up,
puts his hands, the crucifix,
crucifixion.
Yeah. And then of course later he. As Robocop, he's walking across water, and Verhoeven has said quite explicitly, "Yes, that's what I was doing."
Yeah,
is this what are we reading into it? Is it no? I was definitely doing a Christ,
and he is reborn.
Yeah, as a officer of the peace, as it were.
Well, he ultimately saves, Detroit. Detroit.
Yeah, that's right. So I mean, quick little. I mean, in case anyone hasn't seen Robocop, Detroit is a hellhole, and I don't know what it's like these days, but there were at least a couple of decades where Detroit really was a broken city. It was a depressing, broken city. Economically, crime was out of control. So not surprising that you said it. I mean, you couldn't have set. Making Robocop in 1987, you couldn't have set it anywhere else. It was a Detroit film, which maybe is lost in the sands at times a little bit, but important context. And basically, Murphy's killed, brought back to life functionally. So he had a little bit of, I guess, his brain was still slightly functioning. He's put into this machine because the machine don't work without human consciousness.
Yeah.
Becomes relevant as years go by. And then basically he goes around stopping crimes and ultimately kills the crime gang that had killed him. So that's the plot in a nutshell. And gradually he starts to regain some of his humanity. And it's the only film in the entire franchise. Well, I haven't seen the remake, don't care. But of the original three, it's the only one that taps into that concept of his humanity and his lost humanity. He goes to his old home and here he is. And now I'm going to embarrass myself. What's the actor's name? Peter
Well.
Peter Weller.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, you can edit that part out.
Yeah. Well,
cool.
Yes, that's right.
Rather than have me looking like an idiot.
Yes, but I'll keep the part in where we talk about editing it out.
Yeah.
There you go. So Peter Weller, who he wasn't a huge star overall. I mean, he never had a role as big as RoboCop. He certainly had a reasonably successful.
He was in a cult film called, I think, Buck Rogers or Buckaroo.
Oh, right.
Sort of
Okay.
a really cheesy camp.
Yeah.
Sci-fi western.
Yeah. In that Flash Gordon so kind of over the top way. Right. Okay. Yeah, because Buck Rogers was one of the serials from back in the 50s, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, might have been earlier. Anyway. Just reel that tangent in before we go too far.
Yep.
So Peter Weller plays that pathos, those moments really, really well, and that's what I think. There's two things that elevate the film and stop it from being a schlocky. Oh, we're just here for the gore or action. And one, of course, is the satire.
Yeah.
And two is moments like that where you get some genuine pathos. Because when you see him with his mask off as the Robocop, it's like this could be one of many, many films where you go, you must have been on set at some point going, oh God, is this going to work? Like I'm reminded of the behind the scenes stuff of when the first Star Wars was made. And you had serious actors like Peter Cushing and Alec Guinness probably going, what am I doing here? People running around going, pichu, pichu, and wearing silly outfits. And you just don't know if things will pay off and work.
Yeah, actually, I think Peter Cushing would probably understand it more than Alec Guinness.
Well, that's true. Cushing was okay with schlock and silly fun. That's true. Yeah. But he still brings that incredible professionalism.
Yeah, he does.
Which, is quite remarkable. So notably, Weller does return for one of the sequels. But he... so The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension might be what you're referring to.
That's the one I'm talking about.
I don't know why that title didn't immediately jump in your mind. So, not hugely successful, but, he got work and he was fine.
He was I would say a consistent, B-level actor.
Yeah. He would be starring in smaller films.
Yeah. You'd get small roles in big films.
Right.
Talking roles.
Yes, absolutely.
And you'd always, go, that's Robocop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. If you're in the know.
Yeah. So I do. So if you ever hear anyone in a cinema going, that's Robocop, that's me.
That's Sam's somehow snuck into your cinema, wherever you are.
Yeah.
So what... I don't know if there's much more to say about RoboCop that hasn't been said 100 times. Well, let's dig down into the satire. What is about the satire that works?
Okay, it is an absolute takedown of corporate capitalist America.
And why was that a big deal in the 80s? Yeah, I mean, you have things like Wall Street and other films that are not casting this aggressive capitalism in a positive light. I think of John Carpenter's They Live coming out at about the same time.
89, I think.
Yeah, something like that. It was definitely late 80s. Yeah. And as Carpenter himself said, he says, I'm not an anti-capitalist, but I'm anti-aggressive capitalism. Profit and everything else is secondary. So They Live, of course, was there's aliens living here and let's draw attention to how bizarre this behavior is by exaggerating it, which, of course, that's the definition of satire. So here we have the big bads in RoboCop saying, basically, we will buy the police force. It becomes privatized.
Yeah.
I mean, now, today, you have American police forces with military-grade equipment, and there's some interesting parallels. I guess we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. And again, I mean, one of the major themes of it is the battle between the sort of executives who are, who are in charge of the police force.
Yes, so executives are in charge, not police commissioners or whatever terminology the Americans use, but executives in charge. And the thing is, that's no longer satire. That's no longer because satire is we're pointing at a thing and because we want to talk about it and we're going to exaggerate it. Once it's no longer an exaggeration, it's not technically satire.
It becomes prediction.
Right. It's just we predicted that thing.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. So without talking about too many contemporary things, of course. But yeah, so it became rather prescient, I suppose. But so there's a lot of the ads, of course. The most famous line. Do you remember the one that stands out?
I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah, that's become. If you ever hear that catchphrase, I'll buy that for $1. Is you got this recurring character in these ads that doesn't really mean anything, but it's regularly there in the background.
Yeah, it looks like a game show or something.
Yeah, he's a sleazy game show fella. It's very funny.
Yeah,
it's a very funny film when people aren't being murdered to make it look like Christ. And it's good world building, I guess. It's it's literally in the background. They walk past and there's the TV, and it'll just zoom up for a moment for that catchphrase.
Yeah,
and then you move on. And again, if you're not paying attention to that, like as a kid, I didn't know what this was and what do you mean capitalism and and the film just works without it, but it's there, and it's very obviously there. He's not being especially subtle about it.
No.
But yeah, that's the three layers. Like it's an action film, it's satire, and you've got the religious parables there.
Oh, and then you've got the whole question of what is humanity? What is human?
Yes, exactly, because he's so destroyed that you can argue, well, there's nothing left.
Yeah,
and he's just a robot. But then, of course, you have the scenes where he remembers his family and so on, and realizes he can no longer be with his family.
And then eventually, he's asked, so what's your name, officer?
Yeah.
Then he sort of reclaims his humanity at the end of it.
That's a beautiful thing, which the sequels just completely ignore. And
well, I think to be fair to the sequels, he's reclaimed his humanity. Where do you go from that? Yeah,
it was a one film idea.
Yeah,
and that's why in the second film, the entire second act, Robocop's not in it because they had to disable him because there was nothing else to do. There's one great line of satire in the second one where they try to produce several versions of Robocop without the human element, and they all go crazy.
Yeah,
and one runs amok and is mowing down people and everything. Yeah, and the executive just turns to his offsider and says, "Get our best spin people onto it," meaning we got to get marketing involved. Yeah, this has gone so catastrophically bad. Now that's a beautiful satirical line. Look, 2 and 3 are watchable films. They're not good. The third one becomes more inexplicably they try to target children. It's a kids film. Yeah, it becomes PG. If you go in with that mentality, it's a perfectly fine film. But if you watch the first two, you're going, "What the hell is this?" Yeah. It's very strange.
Yeah, it sort of loses the punch.
It loses its identity. I mean, I watched 3 as a kid and liked it. If you're 10, Robocop 3 is a perfectly fine film. And because you're not looking for the satire or any of the layers. So that's probably all we need to say about those 3 films, I think.
But yeah, again, I think I mentioned it when we were talking about Frankenstein. I think it's actually got a lot of similarities sort of between Frankenstein's monster. The idea of the monster turning against the creator.
Yeah. Yeah, because of course that's the point, is they built their big mech and E11 or something it was called, and Phil Tippett doing the stop motion animation. He of course was the successor to, now I'm going to embarrass myself again, Ray Harryhausen. Yeah. Oh, geez. And Phil Tippett ultimately was doing the visual effects for Jurassic Park before Spielberg said, "Hey, let's use computers." So he ended up doing what we would now call pre-visualization, where you would crudely animate something so that the director can okay it, so that someone can then do the expensive effects. But so that they exist on YouTube, by the way. You can watch the Velociraptors with stop motion animation. Those scenes were created.
And Phil Tippett, that guy is an absolute legend. He is definitely master of his craft.
Yeah. So he did the E09, and he said the sound of the E09 falling down the stairs was the sound incorporating mechanical sounds, but also the sound of baby pigs being slaughtered. He says that you can see, I saw this on an interview, you can see him die a little as he's saying it. Like he obviously was in the sound booth a bit too long putting that together. Yeah. And when I went back and watched the film, you go, "Oh yeah, that's animals being slaughtered in that sound effect." It was like, okay. Yeah. Little flavor text there for you in case you wanted to know. we have this big machine. We don't need you now anymore, Robocop. So yeah, he turns against the creators, ultimately destroys them, and as you say, that beautiful line at the end where he reclaims his name.
Yeah, what's your name, officer? By the way, one interesting thing about Robocop, a lot of the same actors are also in Twin Peaks.
Really?
Yeah, Ray Wise is
in
there.
Of course.
So
he's the FBI agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes, he is. My brain just fragmented all the pieces, and I don't know a lot of the names, but I know. Yes, of course, because there's the sleazy executive who's trying to.
Yeah.
He's the '80s guy, like Futurama called the '80s guy.
Yeah.
And when the executive says something, he's clapping enthusiastically because he's trying to crawl on his backside, basically.
Yeah. And he's brilliant in it.
Yeah.
Just as he's brilliant as the
FBI agent
in Twin Peaks.
And he says that beautiful monologue where he basically says he's the enemy, but then basically says, "I love you, Agent Cooper," effectively. Where it's like, love will win, not war. Yeah. And he's like, where did that come from? Beautiful little thing.
And he's great in Twin Peaks: The Return too.
Yeah, much smaller. No, hang on, he was there for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's one of the main characters with
with Lynch and I forget the other the female agent. Who
Laura Dern. Yeah.
Oh, Laura Dern. But there was also another female agent.
There was. Yeah.
Anyway, oh boy. Robocop. I bought it came in a pack, so I watched all three. But the first film. Oh, it's genuinely one of the best.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be in. Actually, I'd say this of several of Verhoeven's films. I don't think any of them make my favorite of all time, but they're just below. There's quite a few of his movies that are occupying brain space regularly. And I want to rewatch regularly. Yeah. But they don't quite jump through to my top 3 or top 10 or anything like that.
But I'd say Robocop does for me.
Okay.
I think it's
call.
Because I think it just works on so many levels.
It does, and I would call it the definitive Verhoeven film.
Yeah.
It's got all of the elements of all of his films probably done better than all of the others, where I don't think there's any disagreement. It's not like there was a gross misunderstanding of what the film was, as there were in some others.
Yeah.
Next, 1990, Total Recall.
Total Recall.
Another film that was remade in a very mediocre way, but we don't need to explore that either. Talking about remakes that missed the point. Anyway, 1990, I grew up watching this film. So I was allowed to watch this one, but not the first Robocop. And it's a fine line because they're both the squibs with violent deaths, people getting shot.
Yeah.
And of course, there's the alien with the 3 breasts who's quite famous. I remember watching that as a kid and my grandmother walking in. She's like, what? Who would have been, I guess, in her 70s at the time. Where do you start with Total Recall?
Okay, well, let's start with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I think he's actually I'd say it's one of his best roles.
Definitely, yes. And this is probably peak Schwarzenegger too, because you got Terminator 2 comes out a year or two later.
Yeah.
And then but he was also doing things like Kindergarten Cop, and Twins, and
so he's trying to sort of expand what he does.
Yeah, and this is still very much an action film of his, but there's a little bit more going on. I mean, this is only Robocop's 87, same year Predator came out. So, but I think, he might have done Running Man in the meantime, in between, but it was only a couple films later he does Total Recall. I've got a bit of a take on this for you.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think. I think Total Recall is a brilliant film that works in spite of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, I've not seen the remake, but having read one review where they said, Arnold Schwarzenegger portrays the vulnerability that the actor
Colin Farrell
didn't. I'm saying that is one of the things that, here you have, Mr. Universe, the biggest muscle guy in Hollywood, in the world, probably ever.
Yeah.
And here he's still managing to be vulnerable.
Right.
That is a feat.
Yeah, true. He was showing his
vulnerable.
Yeah, he was showing his acting chops, definitely. Yeah. I think he does a good role. And I know Verhoeven has said it was a real Arnold Schwarzenegger film and all the rest of it.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't buy it. I think that's him saying it after the fact, because I mean it works.
Yeah.
I'm saying it works in spite of him being in it. So I'm saying the
Mm.
film works.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite films. But it's yes, he does a good role, but he's still this action figure.
Oh, yeah.
Arnie has always been an action figure. He doesn't
Mm.
look human. That's why he works so well as the Terminator.
Yeah.
And that's why the Predator is such a big deal, because that's the first time you see him as the hero actually going, oh, this thing's stronger than me.
Mm.
Because he's not defeated in the Terminator because he's the weakest.
Mm.
He's outsmarted in the
Yeah.
Terminator. So the idea that you've got Arnold Schwarzenegger, who at the time was the biggest face on the planet for films, his
Especially
wife,
action films.
Sharon Stone, this
Yep.
stunning
Mm.
wife, and it just feels very. And look, late 80s, early 90s, it's very hyperbolic. It's very late 80s is very over the top. So when you have these incredibly beautiful, very Hollywood people, oh, he's just a down to earth construction worker, and it in the context of the time it worked, because
Yeah.
that's what 1990 was. And I'm
Yeah.
saying when you look back now, that's the film's biggest problem. It still works,
Yeah.
definitely works, but I think if you weren't there at the time, if you
Yeah.
showed this to a 15-year-old today, you're going, this is silly.
Yeah.
Does that make the film bad? No, of course not. But
Hmm.
when I was watching it just recently, a few months ago, it struck me that, I mean, I don't know who. Bruce Willis at the time? Because then he had only just done Die Hard. Bruce Willis, he had not yet become a cartoon action hero.
Yeah.
And you look at Die Hard now, there's a vulnerable action star.
Yeah.
And in the context,
But-
he'd only done comedies up to that point.
Yeah. And I think with Die Hard and Bruce Willis, I mean, a lot of that role,
He's just a schlub of a cop who's,
Yeah.
hey,
And he's-
New Yorker.
you know,
hey.
he's also funny.
Yeah.
He can do funny much better than
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger could.
That's right. And that's why
Right.
I think there's an alternate universe where we could have got maybe a more timeless or perhaps a better film. I'm not complaining about the film we got, though, I hasten to add. So, setup, very, very briefly. We've got a colony on Mars, but if you can't afford to go to this place. I mean, it's called Total Recall, isn't it?
Yeah.
The company. Come to us and we'll implant a fantasy. You will believe it's real. You believe you've been to Mars.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So instead of spending, I don't know, a year's worth of salary going to Mars, which is obviously out of reach, because you got to buy luxuries like food, for a tenth of the price or a fraction, whatever, you can believe that you've been.
Yeah.
Upon doing so, he goes mad. Wait a minute, he's already got something imprinted in him.
Well, that's the thing.
And there's the mystery.
Part of it, and this is what I love about the film, is
it's a noir thriller in disguise.
It is, but part of the idea is that you could, customize your trip.
That's right.
So you could have, instead of just your regular holiday.
Yeah, you could be a playboy, or you could be a businessman, or whatever you want.
A spy, or undercover cop.
I'll be a spy, he says.
Yeah.
So obviously his subconscious at play.
So
So
then, throughout the film, you are questioning whether, is this the idea of his fantasy?
Yeah, is this actually his fantasy, or
is it the actual?
What is real,
thing.
basically?
Yeah.
It's messing. I mean, that's instead of saying what is it to be human for Robocop, we're just saying what is reality. It's messing with reality. It does definitively answer it, which I guess.
I think it actually leaves it.
Well,
pretty
I have
open.
heard this discussion. Yeah, there is some ambiguity.
I like to think I don't want it to be answered as a audience.
Yeah, I think that's wishful fan theory thinking.
Okay.
To be perfectly honest, I think it is a very Hollywood. Here is the answer thing. But you're right. There are layers there that you can pick out if you like. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it feels very direct in Hollywood to give you the answer. And I would say it's a fairly satisfying ending.
Yeah.
But there is a fan theory about the idea that the whole thing is actually implanted and so on. So there are layers to, but it's definitely the noir thriller. It's think of 10 years later, your Dark City, which is obviously a noir thriller, except it's set in, what are you shaking your head for? Not a fan?
Dark's okay. I've got problems with Dark City.
Oh yeah, me too. But the only point I'm making is that you've got these 1940s noir thrillers. So and so's got amnesia, and how do I battle this? And you've got films like this which just transplant it into the near future and sci-fi, but they're definitely that. So it does the twists and turns really well. It's definitely an anti-capitalist film too, because the corporation will turn the air off and control people on Mars and so on. So it's definitely got that anti-capitalist theme, messaging, and so on. And it's very, very good at, like I said, Robocop. Like as an action film, it's really, really good. I'd say more clever because of those twists and turns.
I'd say one thing we do need to talk about is the special effects. I would say the special effects in Robocop actually stand up better now than what they do in Total Recall.
Yes.
Total Recall's got some amazing effects and sets and all that.
I guess Robocop was less ambitious with its effects relative to Total, because Total Recall is creating an entire world. So yeah, that's fair. But Total Recall, I would say the effects work most of the time and are for their day stand out. Why does it still look so good today? A lot of it was practical and miniatures. He's got the TV on the wall, so it's predicting a little bit of our smart technology. So it's very good. It was cutting edge stuff.
It's definitely cutting edge at the time.
And I'd say most of it holds up, but you're right. It's not flawless by any means. There are some optical shots that don't work.
Interesting fact. One of the first times that they tried to use digital motion capture. So in that
of the skeleton?
Of the skeletons they walk through.
In the X-ray.
So apparently what happened was the people who were saying, we can do this wonderful motion capture and get this realistic skeleton thing happening. They got all the footage of the people walking past, but they were unable to. So when you do motion capture, you need to have people in suits with balls that sort of.
So your computer can track the movement.
However, you still need to clean it up. So you need to just make these.
So the movement is smooth and looks real.
So you need to sort of clean up these sort of points. When I was learning about motion capture and how to do it, you'd basically do one person at a time.
Right.
They did a whole lot of people and they could not clean it up.
Right.
So that literally set back motion capture and that technology and its use for about 10 years, I think.
It probably didn't become the thing until Gollum proved it in Lord of the Rings. And there was.
So they did. I think they did a bit in Terminator 2, where he's walking along and
when he transforms. That was motion capture, was it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. But
please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes. Let us know, internet. But I think. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, motion capture did go by the wayside because I think there are elements for Jar Jar Binks, I want to say, in Phantom Menace. I've sort of deleted a lot of that from my brain, the prequels.
I don't know why, but I watched Phantom Menace again recently. And
were you having a sad day or something? Or...
I think I was just hating on myself or something.
Yeah, a bit of self-loathing. I mean, to be fair, of the prequels, Phantom Menace is by far the most watchable.
It's got the most Jar Jar, so therefore I
see.
I disagree with that statement.
Okay.
Let's get back to Paul Verhoeven. Happier.
Yeah. Calm.
Yeah, we'll breathe.
Breathe.
Think of the ultra-violent.
Or we could think about manipulation and sexual conquests. Basic Instinct, 1992.
Okay.
I only just watched this for the first time a few months ago, thanks to Mubi. Although, of course, I had seen a couple of scenes. Have you seen National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon one?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, the gratuitous beaver shot.
Yes, the gratuitous beaver shot and also the moonlit
button. I think that was also a reference to Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon,
and a whole lot of...
Correct. Yeah, there was a few connections.
Almost it, and I would say probably Terminator 1, where he's walking around showing his butt and...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
In fact... Arnold Schwarzenegger does claim that that's one of the reasons why the movie's a hit.
Yeah. Well, can't argue with that. Yeah, Loaded Weapon 1 is a funny film, and then you go back and watch the couple of Lethal Weapons and Basic Instinct, and you realize it's an even funnier film, basically. Yeah. So basically what we're saying in this Paul Verhoeven podcast is you should definitely go watch Loaded Weapon 1. It's a great film.
And you should definitely watch Basic Instinct. It is also a great film.
Yeah, so what I want to say about is it's a very 90s movie.
It is.
The acting is all... and boy, this will come up in a minute too when we get to the next film. The acting is all over the top.
Yep.
In that very early 90s kind of way. So I don't know how grating it would be if you weren't there. You know, if you're a Gen Alpha, Gen Z, and you watch this, I don't know how it would play. But if you're from there, it's fine. It fits.
It sort of feels like television acting now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so and
if you watch, a lot of like Grey's Anatomy or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Sort of be, and it's not bad acting. It's not.
No. It fits the film it's in.
Yeah.
But what becomes more clear as we get to the next two films is that this became a bit of a thing for Verhoeven. Is he kind of went, I want my film to exist in a sort of heightened reality, and I want the acting to match. So the more heightened the reality, the more heightened I want the acting. That would be...
I would have said the same. You could say the same about Robocop and Total Recall.
Oh, sure.
They're both heightened realities, both heightened acting. Especially, the satirical elements in Robocop.
I guess it becomes more obvious in this film and the next film because they're set in what looks like our world. Whereas the other ones, of course, have that sci-fi alternative.
Yeah. So
it becomes more obvious here. Maybe that's how I reframe it. But no, you're right. The acting, so he seems to get what he wants from the actors. Whether audiences go along with it is another question.
And by the way, they certainly went along with it with Basic Instinct.
Basic Instinct was a huge smash. And it kind of, all of the 90s sort of erotic thrillers that came from this. This was 1992.
Yeah.
And as someone who was there for the 90s, and there were lots of thrillers...
and lots of erotic thrillers.
And lots of erotic thrillers, or even, Mel Gibson was making one per year and all sorts. And I just want to say to Basic Instinct, thanks for making the 90s boring, because every Saturday night when you're watching a movie at home on free-to-air television, because that's generally how you watch movies, it was one of these damn movies. Pelican Brief, the Ben Affleck film, and oh God, it was repetitive and boring.
Yeah.
But my rant about 90s cinema shall wait for another day.
Yeah.
Basic Instinct is...
I'm sure I'll disagree with, elements of that rant, because...
yeah, absolutely. And every time I say this to someone who's...
Maybe I was partaking of different elements of 90s cinema.
Oh, perhaps. Yeah. And that's, I say it with tongue-in-cheek when I say 90s cinema was dull, because of course there were brilliant films, but in broad brushstrokes there's more mediocrity in the 90s when you juxtapose it with the dynamic 80s, for example. But anyway, 80s versus 90s podcast shall wait for another day. That'd be a nice conversation.
That sounds like a showdown.
Right. That's right. So Basic Instinct is, again, it's a thriller. It's so Sharon Stone and
Michael Douglas.
Thank you. I was going to say the wrong Douglas then. Michael Douglas. And I think he got stuck in playing this same role or variations thereof as well for quite a while.
I think he was sort of playing that similar sort of role since Gordon Gekko.
Yeah, which was 5 years earlier or something like that? Yeah, so he was... if it wasn't cemented by then Basic Instinct definitely cemented it. Let's put it that way.
He was also, a great comic actor. Romance in the Stone, Jewel of the Nile. Later on, War of the Roses. So
that romantic lead, but also the comedy. He did the comedy very, very well, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And this is a bit more serious, straightforward, so to speak. So I'm a cop and I got to investigate this woman, but then he kind of falls in love with the idea of her rather than falling in love with her directly is my suggestion, because she's kinky and accused of being...
She's a writer. Yeah.
Yes, she's a writer and she writes crime thrillers, I guess. Yeah. Romantic crime thrillers. But did she act one out in real life? And that's the...
Or erotic crime thrillers.
Yeah, erotic crime thrillers. And she... did she actually do one in real life? Because we start with a murder, but we don't... It's a blonde woman, but is it really her? and then she's got a girlfriend who's also blonde, so maybe it was actually a girlfriend, and it's all these twists and turns and so on.
Yeah.
I don't have much to say about this film because I got more to say about the following ones,
Yeah.
other than what we said. It is very, very good at what it does.
Mm.
It's a very early 90s over the top thing, which might
definitely calls on, goes back to those film noirs.
Yeah, definitely.
But with the sex as opposed to without.
It's pretty explicit for a mainstream film, I would say.
What especially was at the time, it was controversial.
Very, very controversial.
Because of all the sex and the nudity in there.
Yeah, the fact that, and that famous scene, of course, where she's smoking cigarettes and distracting all the men, it's really well shot.
Yeah.
But the idea she's not wearing underwear, she keeps crossing and uncrossing her legs to unsettle them.
And you've got close-ups of them sweating, and it's just...
Yeah, and you got Newman from Seinfeld, who probably has a real name, but he will always be called Newman.
Yeah.
And only a year later, he would be in Jurassic Park, if I got my years lined up.
Yeah.
So, very, very well shot stuff. It's over the top. Sharon Stone is stunning. She is amazing in this. When she's vulnerable. I mean, what I like about it is even when you get to the end, and I think if I were to watch it again, I think the statement would still hold up. It's still you're sitting there going, is she faking right now? Like she's being vulnerable and sad, and is she just manipulating Michael Douglas's character? And such is her performance that I don't think the film definitively answers that.
Yeah. And that's what I would say is similar with the ending of Total Recall.
Yeah, fair enough. But I think the ambiguity, though, is very, very clear. It's Basic Instinct is definitely supposed to be ambiguous.
Yeah.
Whereas Total Recall is perhaps a little up for grabs. But yeah, Verhoeven's messing with the audience. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
He likes that. And I think Basic Instinct was one that was probably the best as far as I'm messing with the audience, but the audience got it.
Yeah, definitely. Audience loved it.
As compared to 3 years later when he made Showgirls, which was resoundingly rejected. Now, Showgirls stars Kyle MacLachlan.
He's one of the major characters in it.
Yeah, so the lead is Elizabeth Berkley, and who was apparently a child star at the time. So this was her big sort of breakout role, and basically destroyed her career. You talk about being over the top. This film is so over the top that I would say with Basic Instinct, the most over the top acting it gets is just the baseline for Showgirls. So you have her coming in going, I'm not going to do this, and storming out dramatically and bashing a car and throwing things. And it is so over the top and so ridiculous. And I completely get why people didn't get it at the time. Okay.
So I have started watching this film a few times.
Right.
And each time I sort of find myself not able to continue on with it. And I think it's because of that over-the-top acting.
It's so ridiculous.
And, yeah.
And there's insane amounts of nudity here. And I got to say, I
think the nudity, considering what it is, it's actually justified.
It is. And if you go for what is the theme here, and Verhoeven himself has said it, this is not me being clever, he said it. The point is, so let's take a couple of scenes. You've got, of course, the famous sex scenes between her and Kyle MacLachlan, which are very, very silly. And the point Verhoeven is making with this film is you take something that is inherently sexy. You have showgirls, you have women dancing naked or semi-naked, and it's very erotic, it's very sexy. And then he said, now let's make it unsexy. He was trying. So if you have so much nudity in it that it becomes boring. If you have sex scenes that are not sexy, he was doing that on purpose. But people went in there going, yeah, I can see something erotic and so on. And you can frame that as for the male gaze, men wanting to see naked women, or women wanting to see, because the lead is a woman, and you can see her struggling against the male exploitation, which obviously the film's making comment on. When we get to a scene at the end I'll mention briefly in a moment, without spoiling too much, that becomes very, very apparent. So you have the audience, both sides of that coin, going in to see it for perhaps different reasons, and neither being entirely satisfied is probably why the film was outright rejected at the time. Did very well on what the Americans would call the pay-per-view or the home video, because people didn't want to be seen going out in public to see this film, which was really, really dirty. It's basically pornographic. No, it's not. Not at
No.
all. It's making
No,
a
it's
statement
not.
about it.
It's making a statement about LA. Well, not LA. Las Vegas. Strip clubs and
Yeah,
showgirls.
it's as I said, it's making the sexy unsexy to make a comment about it. It's very anti this stuff, and that's why it's a very, very clever film. Now, I watched it and I love this film, but I had years of people talking about it on the internet to preload me, so I went in there knowing what it was. I knew what it was and therefore thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it does everything Verhoeven wanted to do perfectly. But, and much like the next film of his we're going to watch, I also understand why people didn't get the joke. I think now with the advent of the internet, people love it. It's very, very successul in the queer community as well, because it's so over the top. It's got the fabulous outfits. It's embracing sexuality. So they're, I think, ironically loving the film, and it even produced a sequel as a result. Very, very cheap direct-to-video, so to speak. That terminology doesn't mean much now, but a direct-to-video derivative sequel, but embracing that camp value, because it is very camp as well.
Yeah. Actually, one thing you could say is present in most of Verhoeven's films is usually there's usually a change room scene where men and women are basically in the change rooms getting changed. You'll see male and female nudity, and it is completely devoid of any sexual subtext. It's just normal.
Yes, it's not. We're not here for the sake of exploiting and sexualizing characters.
Yeah, it's a normal scene.
Which is why it's interesting in Showgirls, where the point is these women are being exploited.
Yeah,
and there's a whole heap of vile dialogue, which I won't repeat here. But even the screenwriter is just like, yeah. I mean, we're making a point, but he's like, I mean, it wasn't his best work, to be fair. But it is, because the thing is, if you're going to be intentionally misogynistic to call out the misogyny, it's awkward because you're still being misogynistic. Yeah. And it's a very fine line. I don't know if they... Again, I understand why audiences didn't get the intent at the time.
Yeah. I'm going to bring back American Psycho here. Again, he's misogynistic to the extreme and misogynistic character.
To the point that he is potentially, depending on your interpretation of the film, a psychopathic killer. Yeah.
And again, another link to Verhoeven.
Yeah.
But again, it works.
Yeah. Maybe because it's even more over the... He's literally cut people up with an axe. So you go, okay, we're not supposed to like this person.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to me, Shogo, it's very clearly saying these men who are exploiting these women are horrible. Even Kyle MacLachlan is seen as being the most sympathetic, but then there's a nice turn at the end where, oh, you're just like the other one. Like, she falls in love with him.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just like the others. What will you do to succeed? Will you sacrifice yourself to succeed as a major theme? So our main character, I forget her name now, anyway, a main character will do anything to succeed let me rephrase. Her main goal is she wants to succeed. When she feels like she's being pushed too far and it's kind of like, you now need to go to bed with this person, she's like, nah, she'll storm out. So she draws a line. But ultimately, her attitude gets her noticed. When she does go to bed with Kyle MacLachlan, it's because she actually likes him, and it is representing him pretty positively. Hence, that twist at the end is a bit of a twist of the knife. That even he's bad. You get this horrible sequence without going. I won't say who or what in case, just to not spoil completely.
Okay.
But you do get a very violent assault scene, a group rape scene basically. You then get a very I'll say the intentions. Whether you think this works or not, I'll leave up to the viewer. The intention is a very empowering revenge scene at the end.
Okay.
And then she said she finally gets all that she wants. And the question then becomes, you now see how dirty this town is. Do you take this offer or not? And the film runs full circle. So as you know, she comes in and her bag is stolen by somebody as she's coming into town. Well, she gets to meet up with him as she's leaving town. So that gives you an idea about the choices she makes and so on. But the journey to her getting there, it's kind of perfect in a way. Okay. I really, really like this film.
I'm from what you're saying, I really am going to have to rewatch it.
Yeah.
And actually stick through.
I think you, as a Verhoeven fan, I think
Yeah.
you should, and just know that, the performances are ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you know that every time you see that there's a point to it, I think then I was able to go, okay. And what's interesting is, like, she meets a bloke who seems, and you want to create your own dance and do your own thing. You're actually the artist here. He represents. This is the I don't know if you got to the point where she meets this black fellow who's a valet.
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's showing a possible path. I could go with this auteur, but no, I still want to be. I kind of want to be exploited by the mainstream here, but only up to a point. And he represents total freedom and ultimately rejection.
Yeah.
As in rejection from the mainstream.
Okay.
Whereas I can go over here and I can be like the others. And will I, snap somebody's ankle because I don't want them to succeed or not?
Yeah.
And it's all these. What choices do you make? And the choices she makes really interesting. But this is a very qualified recommendation. So I'm saying to you as a Verhoeven fan, yes, but out of context, what I say to anyone watch Showgirls, not without watching a lot of YouTube explainers as to what in context.
Now, one point I want to bring back to Basic Instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes, it's an erotic thriller.
Yep.
But every single sex scene reveals something more.
Well,
so it's not. So they are important to the film.
Yeah.
So they're not just. So they're
not gratuitous.
They're not gratuitous.
Yeah.
And I'd say, a lot of the erotic thrillers of the 90s
didn't quite get that right.
Didn't get that right.
Yeah. I would say any scene in any film needs to be justified. You're either advancing character, plot, or themes.
Yeah.
And if you can do all three in every scene of the film, then you're talking masterclass cinema.
Yeah.
But at least one of those is fine.
Yeah.
So are the sex scenes in Basic Instinct advancing character, plot, or theme?
Usually, all three.
Definitely, and probably all three in all of them, I think, but certainly at least one for sure, without a doubt. And I would say Showgirls, once you get to the end, you go, oh, so all of the, whether it be the violent scenes around sex, or even the fact that the nudity goes on so long that it becomes boring, is thematically linked.
Yeah.
So when you get to the end and you realize what Verhoeven's doing, then yes, it is. But you don't necessarily know that when you're watching it, is the problem. Yeah. So Verhoeven, his violence and his sex in his films does work, I think, from the point of view you're coming at, which is not something you can say of someone who's so violent, and not all his films have sex in them, but the ones who do, he doesn't hold back in those either.
No.
So that's a rare thing. Now.
Okay.
Next, so 1995 is Showgirls, 1997, Starship Troopers. Speaking of films that audiences didn't get at the time.
Okay.
I remember seeing it when I was quite young.
Okay.
So probably when it came out and when it went on TV, I'm guessing. So that was probably about 98. So, I was still at school, but I was, nearing adulthood.
Okay.
And I thought it was a horror sci-fi action film, and that's it. And I thought
it definitely is all of those things.
It is like those other films. It is those things. And because I didn't like scary movies much at the time, look at where I am now.
Yeah.
So I found it a bit too scary, because it's like giant bugs sucking your brains out and all that. It is a really brutal film.
Oh, it is brutal.
It is really brutal.
And, okay, so for context, I saw it when I was in third year uni. I'd been looking at people like John Carpenter and all of these. So I did a visual art degree. So I was looking at it from, all the different layers of meaning.
Yeah.
And, as well as being, crazy special effects. It was.
It was his biggest budget film, if I'm not mistaken. It was a big budget film.
Yeah. It was, again, it's got definite element of satire.
Thick layered on. It's got the fake ads instead of the I buy that for $1. You've got the sign up today, and it's showing like giving kids fully automatic rifles, like primary school age kids.
Yeah.
Which again, gee, at some point things stop being satire, sadly, but it's very obviously satirical.
Well,
in hindsight.
Well, So one of the criticisms of Starship Troopers that a lot of critics and a lot of people threw at it is that it was fascist propaganda.
It was fascist propaganda, and
every time. So
it's funny watching that now, though. And
when I first saw it,
yeah,
I never thought it was fascist propaganda. I thought it was really satirizing fascist propaganda.
Yeah, it's an anti-fascist film.
Yeah,
and I don't understand why adult critics didn't get it. I understand why I didn't get it because I was only 17 at the time, or 15 or whatever I was. I can't remember now. So you're one of the apparently 10% of the audience that got it. And again, this is another one of those films like Showgirls, which has been reappraised, and people go, "Oh yeah, we get it now." So when you go back in knowing it's a satire, it's brilliant. It's a fantastic film.
And I'd already been studying Robocop.
Right, so you were preloaded. You were ready to go.
I knew, the way Paul Verhoeven works.
Yes, and a similarity there too is it had a lot of terrible sequels too. But anyway, so one of the interesting things is to give people credit at the time, it ends with them going, you have Barney from How I Met Your Mother.
And he's shelling in it.
Yeah, he's dressed like a Nazi officer. Like, how do you not get... Anyway, sorry. I was trying to say, in fairness to the audience, he's psychic, and he puts his hand on one of the
brain bug.
Yeah, the brain bug that was sucking the brains out of some of our beloved chisel-jawed white heroes from before. Very relatable characters.
Yeah.
That was sarcasm, by the way.
Yeah.
And he says, "It's afraid." And they all cheer, and then it cuts to a promotional ad at the end where even our main character, who up to that point had been reluctant to blindly sign up to this fascist state's doctrine, is now cheering. And it's a very 1984 thing where it's like all resistance is gone. He was the one. And at that moment, when it has fear, that could have been a moment where the film turns and they go, they fear us. This could be a moment of understanding or whatever, because we've invaded their homeland. It could be that kind of understanding of commentary on imperialism and blah, blah, blah. But instead they say, great, let's shoot them all and destroy them. And then the one character who is being somewhat pragmatic is there cheering, going, yeah, along with them. And if your final shot is people in stormtrooper-like, as in Nazi stormtrooper-like outfits, cheering and going, yay.
And SS.
So you can kind of understand why people went, that looks pro-fascist. But when when the ads are so, I mean, they're funny.
Yeah.
As in, to the people in the world watching it, they're not funny, they're informative. But to us, the audience, they're so funny. They're literally the equivalent of, I'll buy that for $1. They're so over the top. So the film now, this is one of those films that if you don't mind a bit of gore, action, and so on, and sci-fi and whatnot, I'd highly recommend this film, and just go in knowing that it is an anti-fascist film, which, again, these days, probably an important point to make. In the 90s, why do you need to say anything about the fascists? Fast forward 20, 30 years, and it suddenly becomes a lot more relevant.
Yeah.
By the way, it's its 30th anniversary next year. So
is it?
I know. I suspect we may be getting old, Sam.
But that's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, any other comments about Starship Troopers?
Starship Troopers? So, one, I think, okay, you see Jake Busey in it.
Oh, yeah.
He's really good. The first sequel is actually directed by Phil Tippett.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not a great film, but again, it tries to... That film actually... you realise at the end it's actually a propaganda film made by the people on Earth.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, so that's sort of a nice thing.
Yeah.
I've not been able to watch the third film.
I can't remember if it's the third or fourth one, but they get to the end where they're surrounded by the monsters. I only saw the last 5 minutes, and I'm glad I didn't waste my time. And they're going, oh no, what do we do? We're surrounded. So they literally get down on their knees and pray, and in their prayer, they're saying things about the guiding light or something, and then they see stars, and that happens to be their friends coming in to save them. Now,
So
you talk about
that's Rico's rednecks coming down or something.
Something like that.
I think I've seen that one.
So you see the satire of sorry, not the satire. You see the subtle references of no, I don't. Sorry, I'm going to rephrase it. I don't want to call Verhoeven too subtle. The Christ analogy from Robocop looks very subtle by comparison, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, ignore the sequels. First film's great. The visual effects hold up very well because a lot of it was done practically big miniatures. Excuse me, of the ships, for example.
Yep.
They hold up better than you look at, say, just to drive my point home. A few years later, you have Star Wars Episode 2. It's got a bigger budget, made 5 years later, and it looks like it looked bad on the day. Starship Troopers still looks good 30 years later. So anyway, it's a great film. Go see it.
Yeah, I'd definitely say it. I'd say it's definitely a wonderful, wonderful film, and it's
if you can handle the brute violence, and that's one of the core things between from 87 to 97. Those films we all talked about, all of them are. Yeah, they're not necessarily for everybody.
No,
if it's got sex in it, it's full on. If it's got violence in it, it's full on. It's not necessarily easy viewing from that point of view.
He's not a director who pulls his punches.
No. To wrap up, I just want to mention I genuinely did not know that he made Hollow Man 3 years later.
Okay, I have not seen Hollow Man.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Pretty forgettable. It was a big deal at the time. I remember it came out. To me, it doesn't. It's Verhoeven sanitized, so his clever satire and stuff just isn't there as much. It's fine, if it comes on the TV, something, watch it, but neither here nor there. And he's only made 3 films since.
Yeah, but all of those have been in Europe. Yeah,
so it feels like he's.
I think he's gone back and.
Yeah, he's abandoned Hollywood to some extent. But that 10 years, geez, what a run! What an incredible list of films. But if you'd said to me at the time, because in pre-internet, pre-Wikipedia days, but if you said, "Oh, so Robocop and Total Recall are the same director," I go, "Oh yeah, I could see that." By the way, he did Basic Instinct. Oh, and Showgirls. What? What a weirdly eclectic filmmaker. When you watch them and understand his style, you can see, I see, I can see the connections.
Well, I was going to say, if you think of, say, someone like George Miller, I mean, he's gone from Mad Max
to Babe
to Happy Feet, to 1,000 Years of Longing, to The Witch of the Beastwick. Again, very eclectic styles.
Yeah.
But, I'm sure if we went through and watched them, we'd see themes, we'd see ideas.
Yeah, I think more, when I think Verhoeven comparisons, I think Cronenberg.
Okay, definitely Cronenberg.
And sort of the Coen brothers, because the Coen brothers have really gone, let's just make one film from every genre in the universe.
Yeah.
And you could be very much forgiven for thinking, wait, the same person made this one and this one? But again, their style is so iconic that it's...
no matter what genre they're working in, it's a Coen brothers film.
Yeah. Whereas Verhoeven, I wouldn't suggest that you would watch Showgirls and Starship Troopers back to back and go, definitely same director.
Yeah.
I think when you look at Starship Troopers and Total Recall,
definitely.
When you see Total Recall and Robocop, for sure.
Yeah.
But his is a little bit more striking, and I would say maybe the same for Cronenberg too, where there's some things where there's a couple that pair up, like his 80s body horror. You go, oh yeah, clearly
70s and 80s body horror. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen his 70s, but yeah, his 80s body horror. Absolutely. But then he's done some other stuff which is absolutely
like
not.
Spider and the one about Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud.
I haven't seen many of his ones outside his 80s horror. However, there are 3 of them currently, not sponsored by movie, but there are currently 3 of his films. So if you're talking non-80s body horror.
Yeah, they're recent body horror.
Yeah. So there's anyway, they're on my list and I'm going to watch, so I'll have something more to say about him in the future. Yeah. But when I think Verhoeven and Cronenberg,
I think Verhoeven's got an element of humor and satire that Cronenberg doesn't.
Cronenberg is miserable.
Yeah. Oh, I'd say he's almost like the Franz Kafka of body horror.
But geez, you put that on the front of the DVD, couldn't you? I mean, and I say that with love, by the way. I'm a Cronenberg fan, just to be clear. But I maybe because they were contemporaries too, to some extent. Well, I know Cronenberg was he's more successful. He became successful earlier, is what I'm trying to say. But they were contemporaries.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about comparison. So I think that's the most interesting thing about Verhoeven is that some of his films you can line up next to each other and say, really, they're the same person, but at the same time, there are common threads, and I don't think. Now, granted, I've only seen about 40% of his filmography, but I haven't seen a bad Verhoeven film.
Yeah.
At the worst is Hollow Man, and it's fine.
Yeah.
I've not seen. There's been nothing that's made me go, I can't stand this. I mean, at the moment you're butting up against Showgirls.
I am.
Maybe see how you
it's something I probably just need to go back and view again.
Yeah, it's a very qualified recommendation.
Yeah. Now there was a recent film with Pamela Anderson, and I'm wondering. I think it's.
She was recently in the new Naked Gun movie, but I think you're not referring to that one.
Yeah, I love that film.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
She was good at that.
Yeah. Oh, she was perfect.
Yeah.
But I think it was.
Speaking of hyperbolic acting, but yeah.
Yeah. Something about a sort of.
Was she in a horror? You mean talking about a horror film?
No, it's a film about showgirls in.
Oh, okay.
Las Vegas.
That's interesting.
And apparently, it's one of her best performances, and I'm wondering if it's got similar themes of exploitation and.
Well, it's a rife landscape for that conversation. Yeah. So, okay, that's interesting.
And I've not seen it yet. I've just heard it's really good, and I cannot remember the name. Could you please look it up?
Sure. Let's be thorough.
Yeah.
The Last Showgirl from 2024.
Yeah. And.
Yeah, her show gets closed. So, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if it's got some similar themes, and therefore might be worth watching Showgirls than The Last Showgirl. Double feature. Interesting.
So I guess to summarize, Paul Verhoeven, definitely one of my favorite directors. I put him up there with David Lynch and John Carpenter, some of my favorite directors for very different reasons.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lynch, I wanted to mention, so we both seen in our podcast, we talked about his Disney film, what was it? Short Story.
Yeah, The Straight Story.
The Straight Story. Sorry,
yeah.
We both see again. Thanks, movie. We both seen it. Just wanted to mention, we both liked it. Basically,
yeah,
that's the quick summary. It's a beautiful
brilliant.
film.
Beautiful.
It's a David Lynch film for people who, if people go, "Ew, I don't like David Lynch," because they've maybe seen 5 minutes of Twin Peaks and got freaked out. It's the film for anybody. Anyone can watch this. It's a beautiful film.
It is probably his most, I'd say, optimistic. It's a film about kindness.
It's a film about kindness. It's a film about love. A film about family,
and a film about looking at the small, the small heroic moments of, kind moments within America.
Yeah, it's a beautiful and very poignant now, especially when you got a very fractured America. And you got this, whatever it is, 25-year-old film.
Yeah. So,
just finishing our David Lynch discussion, highly recommended. It's a beautiful, beautiful film. And Verhoeven, one of my favorite filmmakers. And like I said, I don't know if any, like Lynch, probably none of the films make it into my top 10, which I know is a little different for you.
Yeah.
But I would say, not that I'd ever do this, but if I had to say a top 50, there would be at least 3 Verhoeven films in that, without question. He's definitely one of my favorites. So, any final thoughts?
Well, I'd say, again, as we were talking about at the beginning, he is an onion filmmaker.
Yeah.
So each film has got layers and layers.
And will make you cry like a onion? No, not quite.
Well, it depends on how traumatized you are from, the blood and the gore and the violence.
True.
But there's always something more going on in there. And that's, you can't say that about,
Very, very few filmmakers who have had mainstream Hollywood careers.
Yeah.
Can you say that there are layers? And like I said, the worst Verhoeven film I've seen is Fine. I have not yet discovered a bad one. So I would say if you're okay with violence and everything, I'd say start from the beginning. Start with Robocop and just go through chronologically and just know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
You'll have a good time.
Yeah. They're great films.
All right. That sounds like a pretty good summary. So I think, unless I'm mistaken, that ends our second in sub-series of films, podcasts about directors, our favorite directors, and something tells me there's going to be more. Thank you, Sam. Thanks for joining me.
Well, thank you very much for having me again.